Day 2 rolling along here at FBU Top Gun 2013. From one family member to another, we already had the chance to speak to Merrill Hoge earlier this morning. Now we have his brother Marty and his wife Cindy, as they are the parents of Tristan, who's a U.S. Army All-American in the future, a class of 2015, but also an East Bay All-American. He's here at Top Gun. And Dad, we'll start with you. It's been an experience for you and the family, I'm sure, as this process has come along. But here's Top Gun, your son going into his junior year. He's one of the top centers in the country. Tell me about what FBU has meant to you through the years.
You know what? Initially, when we started it just over 5 years ago, our main thing was exposure. We're from Idaho, of course. We're not overlooked, but we're not overlooked a ton as all. So, I mean, for what it's worth, I mean, our big thing as parents was giving him an opportunity to come and get some elite training. It was a new camp series when we first started, so I mean, we started at ground level. We believed in what they were doing. You know, you bring in NFL type quality coaches and you know, position orientated, and you know, we had a raw player who had some great upside, and at the end of the day, all we cared about as parents is getting him the utmost availability and being able to get out there and put himself on the map as quickly as possible, and this was the easiest way we could do that. So.
Well, Mom, I'm sure you agreed, but there's a lot of sacrifice, too, that goes into this on the parent perspective when you've got an up-and-coming athlete. What's that been like? I mean,
financially, we just want to afford him, you know, all opportunities that he can, you know, that we can come across for him so that he can get out there. He could actually show college coaches. I mean, we've been around, you know, the recruiting trail so far, I don't know how many different places, like 6 or 7 different places. And he gets the opportunity to just show other coaches, college coaches, what he's learned from FBU. And they find his technique phenomenal. And we're elated for that.
Marty, does he feel he's a better player?
Well, no, he knows he's a better player. I mean, he does his due diligence as far as taking what he's learned at FBU home, and whether it's in front of the mirror in the weight room or carrying it on with his fellow teammates that maybe can't afford or don't know about FBU. And what's ironic is we bring a few of his teammates here with us to Top Gun, and they've qualified to come to Top Gun, which is a huge thing. I mean, it's a big thing nowadays. And if you get an opportunity to come here and show your talents and be exposed to talents from all over the country and see where you measure up to that type of talent, you're going to have some wins, you're going to have some losses, like yesterday in one-on-ones. I mean, you have some very intimidating individuals that get after each other, and it's a physical environment which he might normally not see at home. So the overall experience isn't just what he's learning. It's lifelong lessons, being able to get along with different varieties of people, what he's going to see in college. He's going to see the different types of ethnicities, the different types of high school backgrounds they come from, and different states and whatever they come from. So, I mean, the nicest thing that we find that he gets from it, not exactly just the aspect of learning football, is the growth of where he's going to be at the next level.
Cindy, from a non-football perspective, I'm always blown away in terms of the logistics and how everything's laid out for these kids, whether it's at the regional camps here at Top Gun, the All-American Bowl down in San Antonio. What's that experience like when you see that? It's pretty big time.
They're like rock stars, you know. It's like they're high school players, but you look at them like, oh, are they in the NFL already? You know, they're like famous people. When Tristan was little, I'm not even kidding you, when he was in that first game, the East Bay Youth All-American, he looked at these All-Americans like they were bigger than life. And his goal from then on was, I want to play in that game when I get to be that big. So it was, I mean, they treat him so very well, you know. And I mean, it was fun. It was a great experience for him and for us.
Well, being from a football family and having Merrill play in the NFL, what's the relationship like with Bo and Tristan? I know they're quite a ways apart in their high school days in terms of Kentucky and Idaho, but there's still a good pipeline there to lean off of.
There is, and you know, Merrill has done a fantastic job of being a mentor for the game. When he first initially, he actually turned us on to FBU back in the day, and him as a mentor to these kids because when he was growing up, and myself included, there wasn't these type of opportunities. So, I mean, when you get a chance to take advantage of these opportunities and see how far it takes you, I mean, for an example, Tristan was getting recruited by Notre Dame, who go down to their camp, and when he actually got time and was invited into Coach Kelly's office, one of the first things out of Tristan's mouth was, he asked Tristan, he goes, I mean, my gosh, you're a heck of a technician, and you showed us so much that we hadn't seen at a kid your age. I mean, where did you learn these techniques? And he's such an advocate for FBU, and he's such a follower, and he's so true blue FBU that because he's learned so much, and it showed so quickly on the field that Coach Kelly was super impressed, and not only that, they have a few of their recruits, of course, that played in the All-American game. Of course, they get the 4- and 5-star guys that they sign it at Notre Dame. So it's been a huge influence as far as that aspect is concerned for him to be able to not only be an advocate for FBU, but to go on and show other coaches what he's all about.
Well, the last question I'll ask to both of you is the fact that now that you've been through the process over the last few years, going from camp to camp on the regional to the national levels to where your son is elite and going to be playing at the next level, what advice would you give to parents out there that are going to be in the similar circumstances?
Be realistic. I mean, as a parent, we knew that it's all on his performance. It's all on how his grades are. He's going to get recruited regardless if you're from Idaho, if you're from California, Texas, or Florida. But you got to put him out there. You got to use what you've spent at FBU and not forget in that 3-day, 18-hour period of each camp you go to take it home with you. I mean, it's very, very important that they take that with them all the time, and it'll only follow up to bigger and better things. I mean, as a parent, we've appreciated his process here. We've still got an 18-month period to go. He's still going to be just a junior, but there's a huge upside, and we kind of blame FBU for that.
And mother knows best. What's your perspective?
The same. I think you have to be realistic in their choices, know what their abilities are, and that's kind of how we've taken Tristan to colleges. I mean, he's got great ability, and the college that he's chosen for himself that we've gone and visited are great choices for him as a person, him academically and physically as a football player.
Well, Marty, Cindy, pleasure talking to you both. It's always great to see people from the smile capital of the world, Pocatello, Idaho. All the best to you and Tristan going forward. Thanks for that.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
We'll be back with more a little bit later.